I spent $3,000 on this racing sim. Was it worth it? In this video, we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to tell you about my first impressions and what I think about it. But first, we got to build it. This is what $3,000 buys you, and I want to emphasize there are no sponsors on this channel. I paid for this all myself, so please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm hoping to make more content with this, and your support goes a long ways. So, what do we have here? When you're buying one of these things, everything is a la carte. That means you have to specify each individual piece. They don't usually come all together as a set, although sometimes you can find deals like that, but they tend to be very expensive. So, if you want to get what you want, and you want to get a little bit better deal sometimes, because you can get individual things on sale, you're going to have to spec out each individual piece. Here, I've gone with two separate retailers. I have Track Racer for the cockpit, and I have Fanatec for the wheel set. On the bottom here, you have the cockpit. That's the metal structure that holds everything together. Then the big box here is the seat. Of course, you gotta have a seat, and once again, sold separately. You have to pick them individually. Up on top here, this little box here, that's the mounting rails for the seat to attach it to the cockpit. And then these two boxes here, one of them is a shifter mount, and the other one is caster wheels so that I can wheel it around when I'm not using it. Then up top here, we have the wheel set. Now, once again, normally this stuff is all sold separately. I got a kit here. This is the Gran Turismo DD Pro from Fanatec. This is a kit that comes with wheel, pedal, and wheel base. So that's the base that actually gives you your force feedback, and the wheel itself, two separate pieces. Normally you have to buy them separately, all together in this one. The box on top here is a booster kit that just increases the force feedback from the wheel. And then the box on the side over here, that is a load cell pedal that adds a third pedal, but also gives you a better brake feel. So your standard pedals that come with this set, your brake is just going to be a pedal that's on a spring, like an old school cheapo set. The load cell pedal gives it more of a real car braking feel. So you'll have kind of a soft zone, and then it'll stiffen up, and you'll actually be able to modulate the braking with pressure rather than just how far you push it. So let's get this unboxed and see what we're dealing with. I'm going to start with the cockpit. PSA, use a box cutter. Don't use a knife like me. I don't have one handy, so whatever. Oh wow, that's a lot of hardware. When you're doing this, try to keep organized. You're going to want to keep all this stuff together. If you see like two of these pieces, they look like the same piece, probably keep those together, because there's a lot of bits and bobs to this. The instruction manual for this thing, 49 pages long. So stay organized. Just like any good set of car parts, it comes with stickers. So yeah, a lot of parts. This is going to be interesting. These don't appear to be labeled, like, at all. So, okay, so it looks like in the instructions, they actually identify these aluminum pieces here just by the length. So like 460 millimeters. I guess you need a tape measure to set this up. So yeah, let me go grab one of those. The hardware does appear to be labeled in all these little packages, so those shouldn't be too hard. And then they're labeled in the instructions as well. So let's do. So pro tip. I just found out that if you want your seat to slide back and forth for adjustability rather than being rigidly mounted to the frame, that's an extra piece that you need to buy that I didn't buy. So we're going to be rigidly mounted. Oh well, I'll probably order one of those and add it later. Uh-oh. Okay, so these instructions are not great. I mean, they're pretty good at showing you which parts you need, but some of the measurements, like it tells you how far things need to be from the edge to, line up properly. Those numbers are extremely specific. Specific? Wow. No, they're specific. Like this one here, this needs to be 156 millimeters from the edge. And then it gives you another dimension for these two. The problem is, it doesn't look like what they have in the picture, and it's not entirely clear to which part of this the arrows are pointing. Like, is it pointing to the very edge? Is it pointing to the middle? I don't know. So I'm going to take a guess and see how it lines up later. Yep, it was wrong already. So we're just going to eyeball this, and when I think these are the seat racks. When I put the seat on, I'll fix it then. So I got halfway through building this thing before I found out that it comes with a level. That would have been helpful about 2 hours ago. Another thing that would be helpful is instructions for the caster wheels, which it doesn't have. So if you order this with the caster wheels, there it is, it's on that side. If you order this with the caster wheels, just put them on when you put the feet on. If you wait until later, you're going to have a real bad time. And there's no instructions, but I was able to just put it together by looking at the photo on the website, which I will put up for you now. So yeah, that's how you do that. Okay, that took a while. That took about 8 or 9 hours, I think, by the time I got everything adjusted and where I want it. So don't think you're going to do this in an hour. It takes a long time. And I do have a few gripes about this. While everything did go together and the rig is functional now, it was not without its struggles. The first one was that big sheet of nuts and bolts I showed you. I don't know if they do this on purpose or if they just got the plastic too hot or what. It's a piece of cardboard and there's plastic like shrink wrapped over all the nuts and bolts to hold them in place. Every single one of them was like glued to the plastic and I had to peel them off one by one. It was a pain in the butt, it slowed me down, and it made my fingers really sore. So that was kind of terrible. The second one that was the most frustrating, I think, was that there were a ton of typos in the instructions. The pictures seemed to be right, but the numbers of each part and sometimes which part were not correct. In many instances, I found probably half a dozen typos in that instruction manual. Not okay for, the base was, I think, $1,200, not $12,000. $1,200 for the cockpit, And to have that many typos in it is just, it's not acceptable. It even ended up, I'll show you a picture, but one of the parts ended up in the wrong spot, and you can see these two pieces right here are different lengths. That's because the long one should be over here. Yeah, there's a typo in the manual that says the wrong length for the shifter mount, and so I got those mixed up, and I got all the way to the end before I realized it. And I didn't want to take it apart because I don't have a shifter yet anyways, so I'll kind of deal with that when it becomes an actual problem. So a couple more things. These ones aren't really problems, they're just things to note. One is don't tighten anything until you're like ready to set it in place, because I did that in a bunch of spots where I tightened it all down. I was like, yeah, that looks about right. And then when I went to sit in it at the end, my feet didn't reach the pedals and the wheel was too high, and it was all wrong and took forever to adjust because everything is held on by these Allen key nuts, and some of them have like 8 bolts that you got to undo before you can move the thing. So keep everything loose until the very end when you get everything adjusted, then tighten it all down. Now the next thing is that while you can build this with one person, as I did, there are times when you kind of need 3 hands. You got to like hold the piece up and hold the wrench in one hand and hold a nut on the other hand, and it's a little bit of a balancing act, and it was not super easy. So you can do it by yourself, but if you have a friend around to help you out, it'll make things a little bit easier for you. And the last thing is the caster wheels. This one, I don't know if it's a problem yet, but it just, on the surface of it, kind of looks like a problem. The base comes with 6 little feet that it normally sits on, but you only get 4 caster wheels. So we're going from 6 points of contact to 4, and that just seems like you're either going to put too much stress on the casters, too much stress on the frame and like bending, or maybe it'll make it more wobbly. I don't know. So far doesn't seem to be an issue. Just something that I noticed and was a little bit concerned about, so thought I'd mention it here. So then, was it worth it, and what's it been like? Well, it's definitely a different experience from using a controller. I've been using controllers for racing games since the dawn of time, since the dawn of racing games, basically. This is my first time using a rig like this. I did have a wheel for PlayStation 1, but it had no force feedback. It didn't even have a desk clamp. It was terrible. This is very, 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 very different. The first few times I went around the racetrack, I didn't. It was a struggle just to keep the car on the road. It took a little bit, but I am happy to say that after I think about 3 or 4 hours in this thing, I was right back up to where I was with the controller, and in some cases I'm actually even a little bit faster. I've been playing through some of the license tests on Gran Turismo 7. There's a few of them where I beat them all, but there was a few I couldn't quite get gold with the controller, and I've already beating my best times with this rig. So I quite enjoy it, and for me, I think it's worth it. But, and this is a big but, this rig was $3,000. If you do not have $3,000, do not buy one of these. Sim rigs are crazy expensive toys, and they can go as crazy as you want them to. You can get one for as cheap as like $400, or you can get one as expensive as $100,000. You can basically spend however much money you want to. So when you're planning out one of these things, set yourself a budget before you start and stick to it. It's not worth it if you can't afford it. Do not spend money you don't have. So I spent $3,000 on a racing sim, and so far I love it. It's incredible, it is a lot of fun, and it is way, way, way more engaging than a controller. This thing is a full body experience compared to just fingertips, and yeah, I love it. That's all I got. If you want to see me make more content with this rig, maybe I do some kind of Let's Plays or scenarios or streams even, let me know. Let me know in the comments, and of course remember to like and subscribe. Is that good? Are we good? I think we're good.